I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on the no half step in hockey coverage, let me first direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you learn everything you need to know about the show. Once you're getting educated about the show, click on that merchandise tab. It's going to take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck are still available on our online store, whether that's socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets. It makes no difference to us. We put our logo on it. As a matter of fact, we've sold out so that you can buy in, and we sure do appreciate everyone who's picked up some Renegades of Puck merchandise over the last couple of weeks. It is also critically important for you to assist us on social media. Let me start with YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thank you, Stick Taps, Love, and Respect, to everyone who has subscribed recently. An uptick. That is good. That's what I like to see. Trending in a better direction. We will continue talking about it and continue expanding. Search Renegades of Puck and make sure you turn on that notification button today. You can also find us on social media on a number of different platforms. Whichever you prefer, please follow along. Whether that's Facebook, X, Threads. We are on Threads, and we're becoming more active there all the time. Or Twitter, or Instagram, or TikTok. You can find us on all of those different platforms, so please give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscription, whatever it is that's necessary to do. It doesn't cost you a thing. It doesn't take even a second, but it sure does go a long way to helping the Renegades of Puck. The audio podcast. Thanks so much to the Full Press Predators and Full Press NHL coverage. The podcast is doing better than ever. As a matter of fact, Jersey Jim's been on the show the last couple of days, and look at the place. The place is a mess. We've been cutting lots of content. We've been talking Preds hockey. We bring that to you very soon. We've also been talking pro wrestling and just about everything else. And after having Jersey Jim Behringer in the bunker for a couple of days, man, the place is just a wreck. So let's get to this particular show, and then let's get the place reorganized and clean. What? There's a hockey sock. There's a hockey sock on the microphone. This place is wild right now. Please, we might have some repairs, and somebody broke the golden microphone. We might need some repairs to the bunker. You can help us out by donating financially on Venmo. Scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Just search Renegades of Puck. I don't know what else to say about it. There's nunchucks over here. There's a hockey sock, a broken microphone, and everything else looks like it's pretty much wrecked in the bunker right now. We're going to have to put some time. Why is there a roll of tape right there? Man, Jersey Jim came by and hung out. It was a little much. It was a lot. It's great content, though, and we'll be doing that a lot more. Listen, I know it's time to get to the No Half Step in hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 810. That's right, time for show number 810. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 7th place in the Central Division with 7 games played. Every single team in the Central Division has played 6 or 7 games now, so everything is starting to even out. The Nashville Predators hold a record of 3-4. That is good for 6 total points. They find themselves 6 points behind the Colorado Avalanche. To recap the division standings at this moment, the Colorado Avalanche have suffered their first regular season loss. They are now 6-1 on the season, but lead the Central Division with 12 points. The Dallas Stars just behind them with 9. Then Winnipeg with 8. St. Louis with 7. Minnesota also with 7. Arizona with 6. Nashville with 6. And the Chicago Blackhawks are in the 8th and final spot of the cellar of the Central with just 4 points on the season. They have a record of 2-5. Now, the Nashville Predators' next game will take place on home ice against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Preds are 2-2 on home ice. They've scored 20 goals on the season. They've given up 19 against. And once they wrap up this first of 2 regular season meetings against the Toronto Maple Leafs, it will be the first time this season that the Nashville Predators have had a reoccurring opponent. Through the first 8 games of the season, it has been standalone games and no rematches, but that changes dramatically when the Nashville Predators head out of town on the CMA road trip. Tuesday in Vancouver, Thursday in Seattle, Saturday in Edmonton. All 3 of those are rematch games of opponents the Preds have faced off to start the season. And then in Calgary on the 7th of November and Winnipeg to wrap up the road trip on the 9th of November. So the Nashville Predators, once they wrap up this game on Saturday night, are headed out for a long road trip. We're used to it. It happens every year at this time, and it's usually beneficial for the team and the organization. A good opportunity for them to gain some chemistry, gel, and come together. And we usually see the Preds see a nice uptick coming out of this road trip. Not always on the road trip, but usually we do see an uptick coming out of the road trip. Now, I mentioned it's one of two regular season meetings between the Preds and the Leafs that will take place. The second one on 12/9, December the 9th. Nashville will be in Toronto for the first and only time of this season. Now, the Maple Leafs, let's talk about them for just a second. On the regular season, they are 5-2. They have 10 points. That's good for third in the Atlantic Division. On the road, and this is key because that's where they're playing their next game, they are 2-1. On the season, they've scored 27 goals for. They've given up 21 against. It's a +6 goal differential. And in the most recent action, let's go back 5 games. We don't need to talk about all 7. Let's go back to the 16th. To get a good sample size, I like to go back 5 games. On the 16th of October, it was a 4-1 loss versus Chicago. On the 19th of October, a 3-1 loss at Florida. And then the Leafs turned things around pretty quickly after that 2-game slide. On the 21st of October, a 4-3 overtime win in Tampa Bay. Always a difficult place to go and play. On the 24th of October, a 4-1 win at Washington. And most recently, on the 26th of October, a 4-1 win at Dallas. Again, another very difficult building to go and secure a victory in. And it was Woll getting the victory. 31 out of 32, picks up the W in that one for the Leafs. Now, when you talk about the NHL rankings and matchups between these two teams, it's early in the season, but the numbers are really starting to populate, and there's a lot more data than you might think. So let's talk about it. Goals for 2.86 for the Nashville Predators is 19th rated in the NHL, while 3.71, and 3.71 is a very impressive number, but it's only 10th at this point in the NHL. But if they maintain 3.71 throughout the season, they're going to be in a very good place. Goals against average, Nashville Predators ranked 10th at 2.71 given up, while the Leafs are giving up 3 even per game. That is good for 13th overall in the NHL. This is a category I find very interesting between these two teams because both of them are piling up the shots on goal this season. For the Nashville Predators, 32.1 shots on goal per game is good for 9th best in the league, and that is a big turnaround from what the Predators did all of last year, and frankly, in recent seasons. Their shots on goal had been just lagging behind much of the league. Now, on the other side of the ledger, the Toronto Maple Leafs are generating 33.4 shots on goal per game. That is 6th best in the NHL. So looking forward to a lot of shots on goal in this game. Shots against, the Nashville Predators are 7th in the league, 28.1 per game, while Toronto's giving up 30.3 per game. That is 16th overall. Special teams, this is where the Nashville Predators need to make their biggest change, their biggest climb, and certainly their biggest improvements as the season goes along. Listen, the power play has converted a couple of times as of late, so that makes the numbers look a little bit better. 20.7% conversion rate is 14th best in the NHL, or the raw data works out to 6 of 29 for Nashville. But, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs can roll out an incredible power play unit, and they are currently rated 4th in the NHL, 33.3%, 8 conversions on 24 attempts. And the early games for the Nashville Predators this season, way too many power play opportunities against very professional power play offensive-minded teams. Do not fall into that trap against Toronto Maple Leafs. They will make you pay. I'm telling you now, 1 out of 3 is a guarantee. And if you give them 6, they're going to score 2, and it's going to be tough to beat them if you're giving up a bunch of extra goals. On the penalty kill, the Maple Leafs find themselves in 17th place in the NHL. 77.3% is their kill rate. They have given up 5 power play goals against on the season. For the Nashville Predators, 31st rated penalty kill in the league. 7 power play goals against, only a 68.2% kill rate. That's what I mentioned right there. Don't play into that trap with the Toronto Maple Leafs. As a matter of fact, you can't play into that trap with any good NHL team, and the Leafs are certainly a very good team. Something that will influence the game is the injury report. Luke Schenn still listed as out on IR, potentially 3 to 5 weeks. I've updated the time frame based on a week going by now since the original time frame was put out. And Glass still listed as out with no time frame for return, and that's important. Need to know how long he's going to be out of the lineup because the Preds right now are doing okay, but Glass really is a big component down the middle for this Predators lineup. When it comes to the individual statistics, every team in the NHL can roll out a high-quality caliber of offensive players, and there is absolutely no shortage of them on the Leafs side of the ledger. As a matter of fact, the top 5 scorers on the Toronto Maple Leafs would all be the leading scorer for the Nashville Predators. Let's start on the visiting Maple Leaf side of things. Nylander, 5 goals, 6 assists on the season for 11 points. Tavares, 4 and 7 for 11. Matthews, 7 goals. That leads the team with 2 assists added. That is 9 points. Riley, 2 and 5 for 7. And Marner, 2 and 4 for 6. And let's face it, for the Nashville Predators. All of these players are a threat to score and to take over a game at, frankly, any time, and they have done so against the Predators team in the past. What has been a revelation for this Maple Leafs team is what has been such a problem in the past. Woll is becoming an obvious choice for starter. The early part of the season, just incredible. 3-1 record, a .961 save percentage, 1.33 goals against average. And again, in the most recent game on this road trip, went into Dallas, only gave up 1 goal, 31 out of 32. So Woll is definitely an emerging star for the Maple Leafs in net. He appears very much to be the real deal. On the other side of the ledger is very much the Nashville Predators' real deal, the most important player on the team, and he gives them a chance to win every night. He started all 7 games on the season. I have no reason to believe he's not going to start. Game 8, UC Saros is 3-4 on the year with a .910 save percentage, a 2.58 goals against average, and 1 shutout. When the team plays really good in front of UC Saros and his workload isn't extremely hard, he excels and he can give the Predators an opportunity to win. This is a tough game for the Preds. They've had a lot of tough opponents early in the season. They faced off in Tampa against the Lightning. They faced off in Boston against the Bruins, in New York against the Rangers, and on home ice, they've already had the Edmonton Oilers, the Seattle Kraken, and now the Maple Leafs. If it wasn't for that one San Jose Sharks game, this would be a murderer's row. And by the way, the Sharks are quite possibly the worst team, not only this season, last season, but they're quite possibly the worst team that we have seen in a long time. We'll wait till we have a reason to be talking about that a little bit more. But that's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators and the Toronto Maple Leafs at Bridgestone Arena on a Saturday night in Smashville. Always fun. See the Leafs come to town. I know their fan base has been rolling into town since Thursday. I saw plenty of Leafs jerseys and shirts and already down around the Broadway area when I was down there at Bridgestone Arena. So looking forward to this weekend's game and very much excited about breaking it down, recapping it, and getting back in the bunker and talking about it. Speaking of recaps and breakdowns, while I work on cleaning the studio from the full press crew being here, why don't we go to this Rebirth Sports full game recap of the Nashville Predators' last game. It was, in fact, the Nashville Predators against the Vancouver Canucks at Bridgestone Arena.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. You give us 10 minutes, we'll give you the entire game, all the goals, all the penalties, and all the important plays that add up to the entirety of the game. We go all the way back to October the 24th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were welcoming in the Vancouver Canucks for the first time between these two Western Conference teams this season. Head coach Andrew Burnett deployed his line combinations in the following way: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Parson, Nyquist, Sissons, and Fajimo, Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista, Trennan, McCarron, and Cole Smith make up your fourth line. Yossi and Fabro, McDonough and Carey, Luzon and Barry make up your defensive pairings. And UC Saros gets another start in net. He has started every single game this entire season. Slow start as far as events go in this game. Teams up and down, back and forth between the circles before 3:13 of the first period. UC Saros comes up with a save on Hodgson, his first shot on goal, first save of the game. At 4:14 of the first period, Thatcher Demko comes with a save on Dante Fabro, first shot on goal for the Nashville Predators. But at 4:28 of the first period, Mikheyev gets his first goal of the season. It was a long shot that was deflected out high off of the stick blade of Roman Josi. UC Saros seemed to lose it for a moment, a little bit of a flutter to that puck as well. Vancouver now has a 1-0 lead at Bridgestone Arena early in the first period. At 5:12 of the first period, Thatcher Demko comes with a save on Tyson Barry. 6:22, Saros comes with a save on Hughes. 7:30, Demko, a save on O'Reilly. At 9:42, we get our first special team scenario of the game as Vancouver picks up a penalty. Too many men on the ice. 6 skaters is not allowed. Demko comes with a save on Forsberg. O'Reilly tries to bat the puck in out of midair on the rebound attempt, and it goes just wide. A great scoring opportunity for the Nashville Predators right here. Overall, a good penalty kill. That was the only scoring chance by the Nashville Predators. The Vancouver Canucks put up almost everything kept outside, and a really good job by them. At 10:32 of the first period, Demko comes with a save on Forsberg. At 13:44, Demko comes with a save on Fabro off of the rush. 14:30 of the first period, Saros comes with a save on Hughes. 14:46, Saros another save on Beauvillier with the extended pad. At 15:38 of the first period, it's Colton Sissons coming up with his fourth goal of the season, tying the game up at 1 apiece, getting Nashville on the board with a wrist shot that goes top corner after a toe drag. Cole Smith sets the pick and the screen. Actually surprised he didn't get called for interference on the play. Colton Sissons, though, gets the good goal, and it counts his fourth of the season, ties the game up at 1 apiece, 15:38 into the first period. So the Nashville Predators, after looking somewhat lifeless offensively, find themselves in a tie game. 15:46 of the first period, UC Stars comes with a glove save on Bosser, and Vancouver is just buzzing over the final shifts of the period. The Preds, just another slow close to the period. This is much what we saw in the previous game against the San Jose Sharks, but UC Stars is able to maintain things at 1-1. 6 shots on goal apiece for each team, a fairly low event first period. That will change as we go into the second period. 22 seconds into the second period on the clean sheet is former Nashville Predator Di Giuseppe, his first goal of the season. He slipped behind the D and made a strong deflection as Saros goes for the poke check and fails to connect with the puck in the play, and Di Giuseppe is awarded the goal. Vancouver now leads 2-1 early in the second period. So Vancouver buzzing at the end of the first and starting by picking up a goal at the beginning of the second. 2:10, Saros comes up with a save on Pettersson at 3:11 of the second period. It's Hoglander coming up with his second goal of the season. It was a tip in front. Saros never saw it. Vancouver now 5 shots on goal in the period in the first 3:11. And they also hold a 3-1 lead over the Nashville Predators at Bridgestone Arena. 4:07 into the second period. Thatcher Demko comes with a save on Alex Carey. 6:33. Saros comes with a save on Pew Suter. 6:48 of the second period. Saros comes with a save on Myers. Vancouver now 7 shots on goal at the 6:48 mark of the second period. I made notation of that particular number because they had 6 the entirety of the first period, and the Canucks are frankly dominating all over the rink. At 9:18, though, the Nashville Predators will respond. Sherwood's second goal of the season. It was a one-timer off of Tommy Novak's cross-zone pass off the rush. Tommy Novak, all he does is make plays. Sick pass across the zone right here, and Sherwood's one-timer was just an absolute bomb. His second of the season is also the second goal of the game for the Nashville Predators. Vancouver, though, still leads in the second period by a score of 3-2. We are halfway through this game, and at 10:03 of the second period, Saros comes up with the save on Garland. At 10:39, Demko comes up with a save on Forsberg. 12:50, Saros a save on Hughes. Saros now going to go to work for quite a while. At the 13-minute mark, a save on Cole plus the follow-up on by Pew Suter. At 14:44, a save on Kuzmenko. 16:31, a save on Garland. 18:40, a save on Pettersson, and again, just like in the end of the first period, the Vancouver Canucks are just buzzing all over the Nashville Predators zone. As a matter of fact, just missing a glorious scoring opportunity as we hit the buzzer. No official shot on goal was credited because it came at just after the horn, but another great scoring chance even up to the echo of the whistle of the second period. So the Vancouver Canucks are just simply dominant through 2 periods, but the Nashville Predators do find themselves still in this game, only down by 1. Shots on goal at the end of the second period. Vancouver listed at 21, Nashville at 11. We flip over the sheet and we go to the third period. At 1:16 into the third period, and it's Thatcher Demko coming up with a save on Sissons from the slot. This was just an incredibly glorious scoring opportunity and one of Demko's biggest saves of the game. A reactionary save more than anything, but it doesn't make a difference. A huge and timely save to keep it a 1-goal game. 3:57 of the third period, Demko comes up with a save on Forsberg. We go all the way to 7:58 because the teams were really starting to go up and down between the face-off circles quite a bit. 7:58 of the third period, Saros comes up with a save on Joshua. The rebound trickles just wide. A really strong scoring opportunity here for the Vancouver Canucks. I made the notation at this point in the third period, the Preds have evened out the game in a game that's been largely dominated, especially the second period, by the Vancouver Canucks. They had had possession. They were first on the puck. They were quicker to battle. The Nashville Predators have finally evened these things out. 12 minutes to go in the game. 8:54 of the third period. Demko comes with a save on Evangelista's drive to the net. This was an incredible scoring opportunity for the Nashville Predators as Luke Evangelista took the puck off the half wall, danced along the goal line, stepped out, and went for the jam. Demko, another huge save here in the third period. 9:39 of the third period. UC Saros comes with a save on Mikhaev. 11:06. Saros comes with a save on Hoglander. At 12:18, Thatcher Demko comes up with a save on Alex Carrier. 12:43, Demko, another save, this time on Sherwood's deflection. The Nashville Predators, for the first time in this game, you can say they are starting to build some momentum and generate some offense. That's why at 13:18, Friedman is going off the box, 2 minutes for interference on O'Reilly. O'Reilly absolutely earned this power play for the Nashville Predators. O'Reilly trying to crash to the net and being held up by the defenseman. Friedman preventing him from pursuing the puck and a potential scoring opportunity. Nashville Predators go on the power play, and Demko comes up with a save on Roman Josi. But overall, again, a strong penalty kill by the Vancouver Canucks, keeping everything to the outside. As the power play for the Nashville Predators is expiring, the arm goes up again, 15-19. So 1 second after the previous power play expires, the Nashville Predators are going back on the power play. Myers is off to the box, this time 2 minutes for cross-checking on Parsonen. He was just wearing Parsonen out in front of the net. Luke Evangelista, though, before the Nashville Predators can get any momentum going on the power play, and it was a slow start to this power play. Luke Evangelista is off to the box, 2 minutes for interference. That's going to lead to a 4-on-4 scenario for 35 seconds, which leads to a Vancouver power play for 1 minute and 25 seconds. Now the Nashville Predators shorthanded for the first time in this game, only a minute and 25 seconds worth, but they come up strong, played good, hard defensive hockey here, allowing the Preds to get the 6-on-5 opportunity. First attempt at it, 18:49, but as soon as UC Saros left the crease, there was a whistle. So after the Preds get control of it again in the final minute and the 6-on-5 opportunity, we see absolute and total chaos. As a matter of fact, we would see Pedersen for Vancouver hit the post and miss the empty net wide. Multiple opportunities missed by the Vancouver Canucks. The Nashville Predators just could not seem to corral the puck or get it down into the offensive zone to set anything up, and the Nashville Predators would not even generate a 6-on-5 shot here at the end of the game. Just total chaos as we hit the end of the game, and the Vancouver Canucks do hold on for the 3-2 victory at Bridgestone Arena. And the Vancouver Canucks end up out shooting the Nashville Predators 24-18. That's the least amount of shots the Preds have had on goal this season, and certainly reversed the trend that I had talked about in the preview, where Vancouver did not get many shots on goal and gave up tons of shots, and just the opposite for the Preds. But that did not play out in action tonight as Vancouver holds on in the third period. Preds did finally get their skates under them, but it was just too late, and they could not take advantage of those two big power plays at the end of the game. Overall, not the best game of the season for the Nashville Predators, largely dominated on their home rink, but they only fall by 1 goal to the Vancouver Canucks. You gave us 10 minutes. We gave you the entire game. We've got full analysis, box score, and more coming up on the Renegades of Puck podcast right after this.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Was 21 out of 24 in this game, and I gotta say, out of the 7 games that I've seen him in, he didn't have a chance against the Edmonton Oilers. That was the team in front of him, but this was a little bit more on the netminder for the Nashville Predators. It wasn't his strongest game, and the long goal early set the tone. Another tip in front with traffic that he never got his eyes on, so that's 2 goals right there that typically do not find their way into the net against UC Saros. So again, 21 out of 24, light workload, 3 goals against, not the best game overall overall for the starting netminder of the Nashville Predators, but it wasn't the best game truly overall for the team. Let's talk about it a little bit further, but when it comes to UC Saros, 21 out of 24, all of those saves came at even strength, did not even have to make a shorthanded save in this game. Colton Sissons picks up a goal, his fourth of the season. He's tied for the team lead, and he's bringing more jam. Finds himself in the slot, in just the slightest little bit of open space, and firing that puck home. An unassisted goal for Colton Sissons. Again, 4 goals has him tied for the team lead on the season. And Colton Sissons just continues being the exemplary veteran for this Nashville Predators team. We talk about O'Reilly all the time now, and his new addition and what he brings to the team and what McDonough brings to the team. But Colton Sissons is truly, truly a professional hockey player and a professional veteran hockey player at that for this Nashville Predators franchise. Every team needs a Colton Sissons. Sherwood picks up the other goal for the Nashville Predators in this game, and that was a one-time bomb by Sherwood. What an absolute feed. We're going to get to that feed here in just a second, but Sherwood continues bringing the jam now. 4 points on the season. The Gordie Howe hat trick just a couple of nights ago. And again, I mentioned it. If he can continue making his 14 minutes of time on ice be as effective and noticeable as it has been, then there is never going to be a time where he's going to struggle to find himself a place in the lineup, like, say, Philip Tomasino is at this moment in time. Tommy Novak picks up the only assist for the Nashville Predators in this game. So, yes, 2 goals, only 1 assist. Sissons had an unassisted goal. Sherwood only had 1 assist on his goal, and it came from Tommy Novak. And what a sweet, sweet pass this was. All he does is make plays. That's what I'm going to say about Tommy Novak every single time we talk about him in the analysis. Novak carried the puck across the line, led the rush, holds, sets the pass across the zone diagonally perfectly for Sherwood to one time. I think it was 90-plus mile an hour one-timer by Sherwood. So Novak sets it up just perfectly. And again, I'm just going to keep repeating this. All he does is make plays. Tommy Novak is truly proving that he belongs in the NHL and at a very, very high level, leading the team in scoring 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points overall on the year. Impressed all the time by Tommy Novak. Now, those were some positives. They didn't sound so positive, did they? Now, let me ask you this, though. Where's Philip Forsberg? I understand. Philip Forsberg on the season has 5 points. He has a goal and 4 assists in 7 games, but does it seem like he's really struggling out there? And this is the play I really wanted to bring up. In the third period, when the Nashville Predators were down by 1, and you have a 40-goal scorer and your premier goal scorer on the ice, and he's looking to do his thing and make some magic, glorious power play opportunity just slid right off of his stick at the side of the net. That was the moment where you thought Philip Forsberg's going to throw the Predators on his back right here. He's going to tie this game up against the Vancouver Canucks, and the Preds are going to be in business. But Philip Forsberg unable to convert right there. And while he has been buzzing and he has been shooting the puck, it just doesn't seem like Philip Forsberg's got his game yet. The only goal he scored so far in the season comes from long range. And look, I know everybody had a lot of fun talking about that goal and breaking that down, but after 7 games, Philip Forsberg's only goal on the season comes from a slap shot out on the top of the circle. And I don't care how many of his friends tweet or X or Facebook or Instagram about it. I mean, George Kittle talking about Philip Forsberg scoring a goal makes no difference to anybody here in Nashville or frankly to anybody. So Philip Forsberg needs to start showing up. There's a lot of youth. There's a lot of players on this team who need his goal scoring. And I'm going to say the same thing for the captain, Roman Josi. He needs to be one of the Nashville Predators' best player on the ice every night. You have to forgive him from time to time, but this one was a really tough one. The captain, Roman Josi, had 26-41 in total time on ice, almost half of the game. 3:51 in power play time, only generated 1 shot on goal, and had 0 points in this game. The Preds had 3 power play opportunities, and he was unable to quarterback the power play successfully. We expect the captain, Roman Josi, to be scoring more than he is. He's not even in the top 5 in points for the Nashville Predators at this point, and he typically is near the very top, if not at the top. So when Forsberg and Josi do not show up on the stat sheet in a game, that is going to make it difficult for the Nashville Predators to secure victory points or anything else in any game. But the rest of the team, they did hang in there and they did try to fight. But again, 26-41 in time on ice, 3:51 on the power play, and only 1 shot on goal is not the production you expect or need from the best player on the entire ice in this game. The power play also awful, 0 for 3. They had their chances. Philip Forsberg let one slip by. O'Reilly had the rebound opportunity. Aerial swat did not go into the net. So for the Nashville Predators, another special teams situation that cost them in this game. The power play is 14th in the NHL. They have converted 6 times, and they have looked better as of late. But in this game, they did not have it on the power play, and unfortunately, that's what's going to end up dooming them and not disallowing them from even picking up a single point on home ice against the Vancouver Canucks in a game that once they finally got their skates under them, I fully expected them to come back in the third period and at least force overtime. But those 3 particular negatives that I mentioned in a row, Forsberg, Yossi, and the Preds power play all kind of doomed the Predators even late in that game when they had their opportunities. Only 1 penalty kill situation. Preds were perfect on that one, so I wanted to point that out. That's good since they have the 30th rated penalty kill in the league, killing off everything in the game, which was only a minute and 30 seconds worth of PK time, but they were able to accomplish that. Now, let's take a quick break. Let's come back. Let's get into the cold, hard numbers. It's called the box score right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast. I want to hear from Stripe Digital Solutions, keeping the website up, maintained, helping us out with our social media presence and all of those things, all the things that are critically important in today's business world. Here's the commercial, and here's some words from Stripe Digital Solutions on the Renegades of Puck podcast. The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. Welcome back, Renegades of Puck podcast. Let's get into the good, cold, hard numbers. It's time for the box score. The box score doesn't offer a whole lot to look at. There's not a lot of circles on that box score for the Nashville Predators. There is a whole lot of notes at the bottom, though, and not many of them are good. It was, in fact, Sherwood and Sissons with the goals for the Nashville Predators, and that's the end of the goals category. On the assists, even slimmer than that. Tommy Novak with the only assist for the Nashville Predators in this game. When it comes to shots on goal, Philip Forsberg did lead the team in total shots on goal with 4, and then it was Alex Carrier generating 3, and then a couple of others with 2, Sherwood, Sissons with 2, and Fabro also with 2. Just wanted to point out those numbers since the Predators had so few shots on goal in this game. Even getting to 2 seems like an accomplishment. But again, the captain, Roman Josi, only at 1 shot on goal for the game. Highly unusual, irregular, if you will. When it comes to block shots, Alex Carey continues the dominance in this category. 6 more block shots led the game in this one. 3 for Fabro, 3 for McDonough. And when it comes to Carrier and McDonough, I've talked about this a couple of times already. 9 block shots between the two of them in this game as a defensive pairing. The work they're doing together on the penalty kill. Everything that Ryan McDonough has in his toolbox is rubbing off on Alex Carrier, and Alex Carrier was already a very, very good young defenseman in this league. He is moving from young defenseman to solid professional blue liner out there, and everything about his game is improving. Alex Carrier right there at the top of the league in block shots, leading the team in block shots. 20 minutes and 6 seconds of total time on ice in this game. And again, Alex Carrier, we need to talk about him on a regular basis on the show because he is putting up that level of performance through the first 7 games of the season. Moving over to the hits category, the physical part of the game, Philip Forsberg did lead the Nashville Predators in hits with 5. Again, led the team in shots on goal with 4, led the team in hits with 5, but was a -2 with 0 points in the game. You expect more out of Philip Forsberg on the other statistical categories, not the physical side of things. Cole Smith had 4 hits in this game. Other than that, was not really very noticeable. And also on the Roman Josi had 3 hits in this game. Again, Roman Josi, Philip Forsberg, leading in the hits category. That's not where you want those players. You want those players on the scoring side, all the way to the left side of the box score ledger. When it comes to time on ice, it was 21:38 total time on ice for Ryan O'Reilly. It was 20:54 for Philip Forsberg. And I circled another one. I actually put a box around it to make sure I had extra emphasis on the situation. Fujimo, 9:38 in total time on ice. 1:34 of that on the power play, but for some reason seemed like his time was limited as the game went along. I guess the coaching staff felt that he wasn't performing. I felt in his early couple of shifts he was noticeable out there, not credited with a shot on goal, but I did feel that he was out there getting things done just like he did in the previous game. So Fujimo not getting enough opportunities in this game, only 9:38 in total time on ice. When you're down there with Michael McCarron at 8:26 in total time on ice, and you're the only two players under 10 minutes. In fact, you're the only two players under 14 minutes out there on the lineup for the forwards. It's not a great look. You got to wonder if Fudi or Tomasino is going to get a look in the next game for the Nashville Predators after they have a couple of days of practice. That was time on ice for the forwards, time on ice for the defensemen. The Captain Romaniosi, I've already mentioned it a couple of times, 26-42, damn near half the game, but not as effective as you would expect the captain to be. And 20:54 is second time on ice. That's going to be Ryan McDonough. And then third time on ice of the defenseman, 20:06, that's Alex Carey. So three defensemen over 20 minutes, three defensemen under 20 minutes. Barry at 18:07, Fabro at 16:55, and Luzon the least amount of time of all the defensemen, 14:08 in total. Power play time on ice. 0 for 3, and frankly ineffective. Not able to generate many good shots, many good scoring chances, and made the Vancouver Canucks penalty kill look a lot better than it actually is. 3:54 was the most power play time on ice. That came from Luke Evangelista. Philip Forsberg had 3:49, and then you saw Ryan O'Reilly at 3:20, Tommy Novak at 3:14. No conversions for the power play. 3:51 for the captain, Romaniosi. Barry out there for 2:11 of that power play situation. Alex Carey getting rewarded for all of his good, strong play as of late. 1:36 in power play time. On the penalty kill, I mentioned only one kill. 1:08 in PK time for Alex Carey. 1:04 for McDonough, and they did not give up a single shot on goal against during that one penalty kill. Now you see Saros in net, 21 out of 24, 3 goals against, 21 even strength saves, no power play saves, no shorthanded saves, and overall, not the best effort that he's put in this season. Certainly did not seem as crisp and did not put up as clean a game as you come to expect from UC Saros time in and time out at Bridgestone Arena. So that does it. Vancouver wins this game 3-2. The Nashville Predators took a long time to get their skates underneath them, but when they finally did, they were able to compete and they were able to convert, and they found themselves in another one-goal game in the third period, and it was late. Let's just wrap up the box score right there, and let's convert over to this final thought to close the show. The Vancouver Canucks beat the Nashville Predators at their own style. Let's call this a learning curve game. Let's call it a learning curve. I think that's a good way to describe where the Nashville Predators were at with the Vancouver Canucks last night. The Vancouver Canucks, young, fast, looking to spread the play out, looking to spring offensive rushes, looking to generate offense, playing a tenacious style out there, being incredibly active and aggressive. Does all of these things sound familiar to you? Because they looked familiar to me when I was watching that game and taking my notes. The Vancouver Canucks are a team that is further along in playing a similar style that the Nashville Predators are implementing. So you see the Vancouver Canucks off to a very good start to this season. Their offense is starting to click. They're getting some goaltending, and their defense last night, the Nashville Predators made their defense look much better than they really, truly are. The Canucks are going to give up many more goals than they did at Bridgestone Arena last night this season. They had a really good, strong game. But for the Nashville Predators, you can see it. They're behind the curve at this moment in time, but you see the potential and you see how Vancouver utilized that exact same style to counteract what the Nashville Predators were doing. They were skating faster. They were faster to battle. They were quicker on 50-50 pucks, and therefore they win the game. That's what the Nashville Predators need to implement. That's what Andrew Brunette is trying to implement. When it stops becoming a style they have to think about and it starts becoming a style that they just instinctually react to, well, that's when the Nashville Predators are going to find more consistent success. 3-4 on the season through 7 games is not a bad place to be. 6 points right now, technically, they're 6 points out of first place. They're 3 points out of second place. They're 1 point out of third place. The Nashville Predators are doing just fine considering where we are, just 7 games into the season. The tough road trip is coming up. They usually gel, and usually they get better results than you expect at this time of year on the CMA road trip. But the Canucks outplayed the Preds at the style that the Preds are trying to learn and they're trying to put together, and you see that it can be utilized and can be successful. Now, the Vancouver Canucks have not done anything overall, but they're certainly off to a very good start this season, and they certainly were off to a very, very good run, trying to make the playoffs at the end of the last 2 seasons with this good young core that they have developed. So the Vancouver Canucks, I think, are going to be a difficult team in the Pacific Division this year. I think that they could potentially be a playoff team. Their defense is still, I'm not convinced on the defensive side of things, but they have a lot. They have a lot of offense. And their goaltending should be able to keep them in the game. Thatcher Demko played a pretty good game against the Nashville Predators. In the third period, he had to make some really good saves. So again, learning curve game for the Preds. I would have loved to have seen them get that third goal, get at least a point on home ice, come back. But honestly, it took them almost 50 minutes of this game to really, truly get their skates under them and start generating the momentum that they needed to generate the offensive scoring opportunities. Again, Demko had to be tested and had to succeed more in the third period than he did in any of the other periods. So for the Nashville Predators, take the learning curve and then utilize it moving forward. It's going to be a tough matchup against the Maple Leafs coming up. Again, another high-powered, another fast team, another good scoring, high-skilled transition team. So the Preds are going to probably face that learning curve situation again against a much more established Leafs offensive group. But the Preds can play good, solid defense, and their offense can come around. And their star players, their leaders, need to lead. If they do that, the Nashville Predators can find themselves being successful. But again, learning curve game against the Vancouver Canucks. The Preds did find themselves competing, though, in the third period, down by 1 goal, not giving up, just not able to break through, not on the power play, not on the 6-on-5. And before that, frankly, it just took too long to get their skates under it. I don't know. Maybe it was the weird start time. I heard that floated on the broadcast immediately. Hockey's hockey. You drop the puck, you play 60 minutes, and you have 2 intermissions and 3 periods, and maybe an overtime, and maybe it's all the same. Like, I get it. That was more of a regular start time on the body clock for the Vancouver Canucks than it was the Nashville Predators. Starting at 8:30, not the easiest thing in the world for the Nashville Predators at home. What is this, a first-round playoff game against a Western Conference opponent? I get it. I like what the NHL and I like what ESPN did last night. I like the Frozen Frenzy, whatever inconvenience it made for me and local coverage and local fans getting to the rink and getting home later than normal. It's okay. I liked what they did. I wish they would do it more. I hope as they try to implement more of these special presentations and gimmicks around broadcasts, I hope that they can find a way to not have to shift all of the start times by 10, 15 minutes. And the only other thing I just didn't like about it is the day before we had 1 game in the NHL, and then we have 16 games in the league in one night. And it was fun listening to Butcher Groth scream about it on ESPN, listening to Kevin Weeks react to it. And yeah, the Preds got some good talk and some good coverage because they started later. So I like what they're doing, and I like that the game is growing and expanding, and they're getting more promotion, and ESPN is taking the job of being the NHL's broadcast partner way more serious, it seems like, this go-around than they did in the past. So I like the NHL frenzy. We'll find out if they can. This was all an experiment. Okay, listen, let's stop talking about it like it's a talk show and start talking about it like it's a behind-the-scenes production. This was an experiment to see what's possible, what's capable, and now they're going to have to go back and dissect that whole broadcast presentation and see if, when, and how they can do that in a better, more successful way. It was raw. It was real. I enjoyed the presentation for what it was, but I think it can be better, and it will be better, and they're going to try it again at least one more time this season. As far as trying to create an NFL red zone type of thing, the NFL is king for this because they play all their games almost, aside from 2, between 7 hours on the same day. So they play all of their games practically on the same day. The NHL can truly never do that. Look at the Herculean effort it went through to get all 16 games on in one night. Staggered start times, all this chaos and confusion. But any promotion, any type of broadcast partners doing better jobs for the NHL, I'm in support of it. I'm absolutely in support of it. It was just a little bit of chaos last night with everything going on. That's going to do it for Operation Number 809. Listen, we've given you a lot to talk about. We've given you a lot to chew on. We'll probably come back later this week with episode 810, maybe even before the Maple Leafs game, just kind of going around and talking about some more details. Maybe we'll give you the full stats, the full league-wide picture scope, maybe schedule an interview. But we'll be back in the bunker later on this week before the Leafs game. Good to have an extra day off for the Predators so that they can practice. But for us here in the bunker, we look forward to creating content and doing more coverage. So probably jump back in here soon. For the Renegades of Puck, I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. I sure do appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your time. And most importantly, I appreciate each and every one of you. Stick taps, love, and respect.